The story begins in a world where the glitz of gold often blinds people to the true value of a soul, and our protagonist is right at the center of this harsh reality. She isn't your typical heiress dripping in diamonds. Instead, she walks the streets in simple clothes, carrying herself with a quiet grace that most people mistake for poverty. She believes in the warmth of a fresh loaf of bread, symbolizing the simple, honest joys of life, while everyone around her is obsessed with the cold, hard gleam of gold. This is a tale of hidden identity, a brutal betrayal, and the kind of ultimate revenge that tastes better than the finest banquet. In the opening of this drama, we see her living a humble life, working a job that barely seems to cover her bills. She is engaged to a man who claims to love her, but as the wedding date approaches, the mask begins to slip. His family represents the gold in this story, vultures who measure a person's worth by their bank balance. They treat her like a stray cat they've accidentally let into their mansion. They sneer at her simple gifts and mock her background, unaware that the girl they are bullying actually owns the very ground they stand on. The tension builds as her starts drifting toward another woman, a loud, arrogant socialite who flaunts her wealth like a weapon. The turning point is as heartbreaking as it is infuriating. On the day of a major celebration, the family decides they've had enough of her low-class presence. In a scene that will make your blood boil, they publicly humiliate her, throwing her humble offering of bread to the floor and demanding she leave their sight. The man who promised to protect her stands by and does nothing, choosing the gold of a potential business merger over the bread of a sincere heart. They call her a gold digger, a parasite, someone who could never understand the weight of real power. They think they've won. They think they've discarded a piece of trash, but they have no idea they just threw away a diamond. As she walks away from that house, the atmosphere shifts. The music in your mind should change from a somber melody to a powerful rhythmic beat. She wipes a single tear, and in that moment the humble girl is gone. She makes a phone call, the kind of call that changes lives. Within minutes, the machinery of her true empire begins to grind. We see her stepping into a sleek black car, her posture changing, her eyes hardening. She isn't just a rich girl. She is the CEO of a global conglomerate that the S family has been desperately trying to impress for years. The middle of the story is a masterclass in psychological warfare. She doesn't just attack them. She lets them dig their own graves. She watches from the shadows as the and his new gold bride to be scrambled to secure a massive investment deal. They are frantic, pouring every cent they have into a project that depends entirely on the approval of a mysterious chairperson they've never met. The irony is thick enough to cut with a knife. Every time they think they've made progress, a new obstacle appears, orchestrated by the very woman they spit on just days before. Now imagine the grand banquet where the mystery chairperson is finally set to be revealed. The arrogant family is there, dressed in their finest, bowing to every waiter they think might be someone important. They are desperate, their finances on the brink of collapse, pinning all their hopes on this one meeting. When the doors swing open and she walks in, the silence in the room is deafening. She isn't wearing the rags they remember. She is draped in elegance, radiating an aura of absolute authority that commands the room. The look on their faces is priceless, a mix of confusion, disbelief, and then slowly a soul-crushing realization of the mistake they've made. She doesn't scream or shout. She doesn't need to. Her presence alone is a death sentence for their social standing. She walks right past them as if they are ghosts, heading straight for the head table. When the tries to crawl back, stuttering excuses and claiming it was all a big misunderstanding, she looks at him with a coldness that would freeze the sun. She reminds him that he chose the gold, and in doing so, he lost the only thing that was truly priceless. The bread he threw away was the only thing that could have saved him. The climax of this drama is a beautiful, slow-motion disaster for the villains. One by one, their assets are frozen, their reputation is dragged through the mud, and the gold woman they chose turns out to be a fraud who was only after their shrinking fortune. It's a complete reversal of roles. The hunters have become the hunted. As they lose their mansion, their cars, and their pride, They are left with nothing but the memory of the girl they treated like dirt. In the final act, we see her back in her element, but this time the world knows who she is. She isn't bitter, but she is wiser. She stands on a balcony overlooking the city she essentially owns, realizing that while gold can buy a throne, it can never buy the peace that comes with being true to oneself. She takes a bite of simple bread, a reminder of where she came from and what actually matters. The drama ends not just with her wealth being displayed, but with her integrity intact. This story serves as a powerful reminder that you should never judge a book by its cover or a person by their clothes. Those who worship gold will eventually find themselves buried by it, while those who value the simple bread of life will always find a way to rise to the top. It's a roller coaster of emotions, from the deep sting of betrayal to the soaring heights of a well-earned victory. If you love stories where the underdog becomes the wolf, where the quietest person in the room is actually the most dangerous, and where justice is served cold and stylishly, then this journey is exactly what you need. It's a narrative of resilience, a lesson in humility, and a spectacular display of what happens when the gold finally fails and the bread takes the crown.